All right, guys, as you can see, the rucksack is hung with a, I think it's called a girth hitch here, Marlin spike hitch there, and the rucksack is successfully hanging. All right, guys, so since we are getting some rain, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a fast lean-to, and I'll be back with you to enjoy the remainder of this rainy day. All right, guys, the rain has somewhat subsided, and I am using a tarp that I have not used in many years, other than to use it as a footprint for a tent, and that is the Harbor Freight 9x12 tarp. It's a heavy tarp, but nevertheless, I just wanted to use it today. And what I did, I'll just show you quickly. I used some of Mother Nature here, and I made this is a taut line hitch around a tree. I did the same thing for the other side. Some of Mother Nature here. Taut line hitch here that can always be adjusted. And I removed my rucksack to keep it dry. So it's here in the shelter with me. And of course, the ridge line. And this is the rear view. Just use 5 tent pegs to secure it to the bush floor. Now guys, if you notice, this is Gorilla Tape. I always reinforce my grommets. That way I don't have a problem with it coming through. But this is a very large tarp. Again, it is 9x12. So today we're going to again talk about fire, the importance of fire. And we all know with fire you need combustion, ferrocerium rod, flint and steel, bow drill, hand drill, plow drill, mattress lighter. You need some type of combustion. You need tinder, something that will catch a spark. You need kindling. The kindling will catch a flame from the tinder. Then you need your fuel to sustain the fire, and also the wood. But we're going to go over something more in depth with the fire. Hey guys, well, one of the good things about this Harbor Freight tarp is that it's easily adjustable the way I have it set up. It's a lean-to. This is, I would say, a 80-20 lean-to, 20% above me. But by using the taut line hitch here and on the other side, I'm able to raise the 20% up to keep water puddles from getting on the tarp and making it sag. So that's a good advantage of using a 9x12 tarp or any tarp. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and get situated, and we're going to talk about a very important subject. As you know, the 4 cores of bushcrafting: cover, fire, water, and food. And I'm going to have a nice fire right here. Now the thing about it, it's wet. All the wood is wet, so that's going to be even a more fun challenge. All right guys, so I'm back under the tarp. I'm going to make a fire, but one thing for sure is that we know about fire is that sourcing the wood is one of the most important critical things. The better the wood, the stronger the fire is going to be, and it's going to be easier to make. So what do we usually use to start a fire? Something like dry leaves, are bark that's coming off the tree of a trunk. So, but all of this is wet, it's raining. So what I'm going to do right now is start to source some wood to make a fire. And I'll come back and show that too. Also guys, I wanted to mention to you about something that's very important is the selection. What part of the wood can I use? You know, I'm going to be looking for small twigs and light inner bark for the tinder. I'm going to be looking for pencil lead size, then up to the pencil size, then up to the wrist size. And if I want fire for all night, I'm going to just basically use a log that's as large as my leg for the main fuel. But what I'm going to do right now is go and source some wood. We're going to come back and process it and go from there. Okay guys, so I've been harvesting some wood, and again, you only want to harvest what you're going to actually use or what you're able to use. So I'm being extra cautious. Over here you can see these are more or less pencil lead thickness. This is more or less pencil size, and this is just a little larger than pencil size. Now again, test your wood, you know, but there's no need to test this because I know it's wet by the moisture. Or you can put it on the back of your hand. Yeah, that's moisture, it's wet, but we're going to use it anyway. What I have to gather now is some wrist size wood branches, and I'm going to have to split those into quarters to get to the middle. So I'm going to go and secure some wood to do that, and then we're going to come back and split some wood into quarters. This is the wood that I'm going to split. And it's going to be nice if I can even remove some of this bark. Okay guys, I'm gonna saw some more this length, then we're gonna start splitting. Okay guys, I have harvested what I needed, but one thing is that again, you can test the wood for moisture against your cheek or the back of your hand, and if it's wet, it's wet, but if it snaps, it's good. It's nice to get rid of the bark. If it doesn't snap, throw it back. If it doesn't snap, throw it back. And all of this snaps. That's the sound that you want to hear. All right, guys, so now what I'm going to do is split these into quarters. I think what I'm going to do is actually remove a lot of the wet bark. So once I get a lot of the wet bark removed, I'm going to come back and start making. I'm just using the spine of my knife, but it requires speed and pressure, but also remain cautious because this blade is coming towards you. So I'm going to remove what I can. This wet bark would only create a lot of smoke. So I'm going to go ahead and remove more bark. Then we're going to start splitting. Alright guys, what I'm going to do is split these into quarters, and there is a specified reason, because when I split them into quarters I'm going to get more wood surface to get this fire started. So let me show you exactly what I'm doing with a S-Wing Sportsman hatchet. And again, you always want to place your wood on the edge of another piece of wood. This is working out really well. I'm going to need these rough edges. That's fine. Okay. Have some nice quarters here. I'm going to make more quarters and I'll be back. Okay guys, I've gotten this wood processed. As you can see, here's kindling, larger kindling, and fuel. However, the fuel is going to be processed even further because of these edges. They cling together onto the wood and it makes the fire easier to start. So let me get prepared for that, and we'll start shaving, making feather sticks, and so forth. Okay guys, what I'm going to do now is actually make some splinters. I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to baton these quarters even smaller, moving all that bark. Put you in focus here. Always try to avoid the ones with knots if you can. I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. Again, these are splinters, so what I will do is take and put my thumb on the pommel of the knife. Turn this way. And these splinters will be much easier to make feather sticks and scrape. So I'm going to make a lot more splinters and I'll be back with you. Alright guys, so here again is the TP fire lay inside of a log cabin fire lay, and it is set up this way because the TP fire lay will allow a lot of air to get in and supply heat to the other logs that are still wet. So I'm going to use some feather sticks, some sawdust from scraping the wood, and twigs back here. All right, let's get started. Okay. Okay, we have fire. Now we're going to put this into the fire lay. And that went out, so we're going to try it again. We're just going to keep putting the kindling on the inside. This size, pencil lead size, along with the shavings. Okay guys, as you can see, and I'm going to continue to insert kindling into the TP. As you can see guys, the flames are climbing up the kindling or fuel just as they are supposed to. But I have a lot more kindling here. So let's continue to dry this wood out. Alright guys, as you can see, the wood that is wet is really drying out. So we have sourced wood today. We selected what we needed. We made kindling. We even tested the wood, putting it against our cheek and the back of our hands. We split the wood. We made splinters. We shaved wood. We made feather sticks. We made curls. We made dust from scraping, using the spine of our knife. And we made a fire lay. And of course, we used the combustion of a ferrocerium rod. And I have more wood right here to sustain the fire. But guys, this was a long process. It can be done much quicker, but I wanted to go through those steps. I still have more to go through, but as soon as we get some coals, we're going to make us a meal and come back and talk about firecraft. Beautiful fire. And that fire will be helping us to prepare French fries today. So guys, I'm going to slice up some French fries with my multi-tool, since let me show you. Since the blade is steel and not carbon fiber. So I'm going to slice these up. I'll be back with you. Fire, a necessity in the bush. Alright guys, there is a skillet of French fries over some nice coals right now. We are also going to have us a very nice burrito, a big burrito, a bean and cheese burrito. And it's going to go into a 64-ounce bush pot that's going to be made into an oven. Alright, so I'm going to cut the burrito, put it in here, and put it on the fire. And here we go with our bushcraft oven. French fries in the skillet and burritos in the oven. Bean and cheese burrito with French fries. All right, guys. Well, the oven worked well, and the skillet, of course, worked well. And this is one of the best times, one of the best parts of being in the bush is eating what you cook. Now, granted, relatively very easy meal, but it always tastes wonderful in the bush. The burrito. Faster than my oven at home. And the French fries. Of course, they're hot but scrumptious. So again, guys, this is the fire that I started. I'm going to talk more about this fire as soon as I finish my meal. Again, the great burrito. And the great French fries. One of my favorite. All right, I'll see you after my meal. As you can see what's going on with the fire. Hey guys, I am back, and I gotta tell you, that meal was fantastic. A nice bean and cheese burrito in my bushcraft oven, basically a 64-ounce bush pot with a grill that goes in the middle of that, and I think it's a 6-inch or 6-inch skillet. But today I was practicing this fire, and there is a class that I took this past weekend at the Mountain Readiness Meetup in Harmony, North Carolina. And I took several classes, but and I want to go over these classes one by one, but today I want to talk about a class that I took, and I basically tried to mimic it, and I'm going to be reading from my notes. And the class was given by Kevin Estella. Let me see. Kevin Estella is a media content creator, training and consultant, procurer of the best survival equipment available. I'm going to leave his link in the description. But he taught a class this weekend on the 10 S's of fire starting. And the first S is source, finding it from the land. Source of material is one of the most critical components of making a fire. The better the firewood, the stronger the fire and easier to get it started. Dead leaves and peeling bark. That's the first S. The second S, select what you can utilize. Small twigs and or light inner bark for tinder. Pencil lead size, pencil to finger thickness, wrist thickness, then arm or leg thickness for the main fuel. And that would be really good if you're staying overnight. And after that, he spoke about testing the wood, about putting it against your cheek or behind your hand. And basically saying if it doesn't snap, throw it back. If it feels moisture held to the back of your hand or to your cheek. Number 4, he spoke about split, which is processing the main fuel. Get to the inner fiber. Okay, and my notes continue to go on with process. Splits means process large wood down into small pieces with an axe or a hatchet. Split with the tip of your knife and a thumb-capped grip. You can also baton it. The more surface, the faster the wood will burn. Keep some in round form to burn at night. Number 5 is splinter, processing the small fuel. A round split in two is halved. A half creates a quarter. Breaking it down further creates thinner splinters of wood that burns easier. Splinters follow the grain and the rough edges catch flames easier. The texture clings to itself. Number 6, he spoke on shave, which is the process, the tender, and kindling. Use knife to split wood or shave wood. Shaving creates curls and or feather sticks for tinder. Don't worry about the curls that fall off the sticks. Use a hat or a bandana. Number 7 was scrape, another tinder process. Scraping creates powder that will take a spark. Scraping requires pressure and speed, but you must remain cautious because that blade is going towards you. Setup is the fire lay. Keep in mind the fire burns upward. Think about the direction of the wind and how it will help fan with the flames. Don't crowd the fire and don't add large fuel too soon. TP fire inside the frame of a log cabin fire. And that's what I did today. Number 9 is spark with a ferro rod. If done right, a single shower of sparks should catch on the feather sticks. If using a wick or something else, use a lighter, matches, or flame-based fire starter. Of course, if you're lighting candles, that's what you want to do. Can start the fire outside of your fire lay, which I did in a shovel. Can use sticks, shovel to transfer the fire. Press downward with the striker and upward with the ferro rod. Sustain, keep it going. Not building a fire too large for its use, so don't waste fuel. Have enough wood to get your fire going again if it goes out. Have enough wood to build up the level of flames in a hurry. Bank your wood, covering it with ash to slow the burn. Or add enough fuel to keep it going while you're away. Sustaining your fire also means using wood that's meant to burn longer, like four rounds of wood instead of split wood. That's what I use at night. I don't split the wood that I'm going to use at night. And last, number 10 is stop. Extinguish responsibly. Never start a fire you cannot put out. I always keep water and a shovel nearby. Space out the fuels in your fire pit to slow the burn. Snuff it out by drowning it in plenty of water. I bring designated water to help extinguish your fire. Don't leave unless you see no visible smoke coming from it. And E, stir it up. Make sure that fire's out. But that is the topics that Kevin Estella went over this weekend. I'm going to leave his link in the description. But if you get a chance, get down to Mountain Readiness and take that course from Kevin Estella. All right, guys. Well guys, you can tell from the fire that I'm just letting it go out before I fully extinguish it. But again, today was just some general practice again on the 10 S's of fire starting. I got to use the tools that I used today. Of course, a cold steel shovel, an S-wing sportsman hatchet, and a Corona saw, along with a Condor wayfinder knife. I do have a SOG knife with me, but there wasn't a reason to use the SOG knife. It has a 9-inch blade, but it's always good to have the cutting tools. You can have one, you can have two, you can have multiple. I'm comfortable with having at least an axe or a hatchet. If I don't have an axe or a hatchet, I'm going to have a large machete. I'm going to have something for chopping, something for breaking fibers, something for splitting. I'm also going to have a saw, a belt knife, and a carving knife, and of course a multi-tool. So I come out here to practice with these tools. Don't use all of them all of the time, but sometime is better than none. But guys, this has really been a fun day. I got to use a makeshift oven with bean burritos. Fantastic. Made some French fries out of a skillet, and got to go over again Kevin Estella, some of the notes that I took in his class. I've got to go home and really type those up and put them in my notebook. But it's been a lot of fun, guys. I encourage you to just get out in the bush and have some fun. So I'm going to start to clean up my area. I'm going to pack up, and I'm going to see you before I leave. Fire is now fully extinguished. All right, YouTubers, hey, it is time to GO. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come out here and enjoy the bush with me. Again, I concentrated on the 10 C's of fire starting, and it was great. Got to make a nice meal, cook using a bushcraft oven, and fried some potatoes. All in all, it was great. So with that said, guys, just get out in the bush and have some fun. You know, that's all I can tell you. It's nothing like it. You can't buy it in the store. So with that said, like father and son, mother and daughter, human in nature, we're all akin in some form or fashion. Just get out in the bush and have some fun. This is the Virginia Bushcrafter, signing out. See you on the next video.